Welcome race fans to the Jeep Jamboree. I'm your host 905 and this is the inaugural tournament at the all-new Elevation Trail at Lakeridge Heights. Today, teams have made their way north of the border to test their mettle against some of the best builders in the game. It's side-by-side snowy action from the Great White North right now at Lakeridge Heights. Here's how the trail works. Racers will line up behind a moto-style start gate and then make a mad dash down the converted ski hill course. There are 10 checkpoints along the way, and teams will earn 1 point for each line they cross. Drivers can earn an extra point for crossing the finish line first, making each race worth a maximum of 11 points. Sounds simple, right? Well, 3 obstacles stand in the way. The snowbank. This berm down the left-hand side of the course will unsettle even the stablest of roads. The jump. This will send competitors in all manner of different directions, and the frozen pond will turn anything into a curling stone. Heat winners move on, but due to the overwhelming turnout, the top second place Jeep after all the groups have raced will also move on to round 2. Points accumulate through the rounds, so each point earned is crucial. The driver with the most points after all rounds are complete will be declared the winner and drive away as the Snow King. The driver with the least amount of points, when all is said and done, will have their name emblazoned in yellow snow and be known as the worst Jeep to ever hit the slopes. Getting it right will take skill, build quality, and a little luck, as all drivers will be jockeying for the same patch of snow. Speaking of, let's meet the Jeeps in group number 1. Driver 1 is representing Mini Mafia Motorsports. Dreddy is driving a Hot Wheels 2017 Jeep Wrangler with a skinny wheel and stock weight setup. Driver number 2 has been to the Heights before and saved Diecast racing from the evils of Tech Mortal. Uncle Elvis is driving a stock Majorette Super Chief. This rig has some weight to it though, and those fat wheels should work well. Monster Motorsports has sent their principal driver Rubber Toe to the Heights. He's driving a Jeep that emphasizes the Colorado life. The 95 Cherokee just seems fitting for a run at the trail. The 4th driver in this group comes from Tiny Track Cars, and he almost didn't make it. Ned Munson arrived in his Matchbox Wrangler Superlift with a completely collapsed rear suspension. The White Knuckle Boys were able to tear apart and rebuild the back end of his Jeep just in time, as here he is drawn into group number 1. We're all set to kick this party off. It's the Jeep Jamboree right now at the Lakeridge Heights Elevation Trail. And we are racing. Out of the gate, Dreddy goes right while Elvis goes left. Ned Munson gets shoveled into the wall, but recovers well and spends most of the upper track at about 45 degrees. He settles it down and is the first to reach the jump. He lands it beautifully, but Dreddy gets squirrely and ends up putting a pit maneuver on Ned before stuffing himself into the snowbank. They all end up folding together like an accordion and grinding to a halt. No advantages for everybody after race 1. Ned Munson and Dreddy get good launches. Uncle Elvis pinches off Rubber Toe, and the snowbank has his first victim, as Toe is up and over. Munson and Dreddy duke it out all the way to the jump, and Dreddy reaches it first, but with a little help from Ned, goes for a bit of a tumble. Ned does a great job of keeping his shiny side up, but stalls out trying to avoid a shaken, not stirred Dreddy. He's on the forefoot though, going into race number 3. Think Uncle Elvis' alignment is off, because the gate drops and he immediately offers himself as tribute to the snowbank. Ned rides Dreddy into the snowbank next, taking him out with intent before showing what those big 16x8 tires are designed for. Rubber Toe hits the jump first, but holy Mackinac plunges his front clip into the snow and does an almost perfect cartwheel. That is worth the price of admission right there, folks. Ned sees Toe vertical instead of horizontal, throws his rig sideways, and that's the end of his run. Toe with the Hahn candidate going into the final race for Group 1. Race 4 shows how tough this course actually is. Ned, like an elephant, he has punished Dreddy every chance since that pit maneuver in lap 1. Toe then rides him literally into gate 4 before Ned again makes a fantastic move to show he ain't afraid of no monster kaiju. Toe's first to the jump, but he's too off kilter to land square. I'm sure it didn't help that Uncle Elvis tried to climb all over his back either. Rubber Toe is the only Jeep standing after lap 4. But let's see how those points stack up and who's going to the next round as the Group 1 winner. Now, although we didn't have anyone cross the finish line in this group, it just demonstrates how important collecting every point is. The score's been tallied, and Ned Munson comes out on top with 24 points. Dreddy is right behind him with 22, Rubber Toe earns 20, and Uncle Elvis rounds out the group with 16. The drivers will be seated in all later rounds based on their overall standings on the big board. And as one group gets settled for a much-needed warm beverage, let's take a look at the leaderboard and meet the drivers in group number 2. First up in group 2, representing Live Young Diecast, is Lone Star. He is also chosen in 95 Cherokee in what has quickly become the go-to Jeep for this event. Next to him, it might say Arlo, but driving this 95 Cherokee is Arlo's northern representative, Stevie Jacques. Arlo has some pretty high standards when it comes to driving, and I expect nothing less from Stevie. The first of 2 Underdog Unleashed Majorette Jeeps here at the Jamboree is driven by Blank. This Best in Show nominated CJ7 hardtop weighs in at a whopping 57 grams. Rounding out Group 2 from Doc Speed Shop in his Maisto Wrangler JK Unlimited, Doc looks poised to make a run at this course. I called it when he arrived. This is one Jeep to watch. Group 2 is ready for their turn at the trail, so let's go to the top for race number 1. Group 2 is go. Stevie sets his sights on Blank as soon as the gate drops. Blank can't avoid the contact and is unceremoniously dumped into the snowbank. Doc countersteers to avoid the snowbank and is having none of what Stevie is selling. Lone Star has one thing in mind as he is just gone. He hits the jump first, but the camera stays on Doc in his exchange with Stevie. Stevie whiffs the jump while Doc says, "See ya," and heads to the finish. I guess neither Lone Star nor Doc like hockey as they take out both nets on either end of the pond. The finish line camera shows their disregard for the game. Doc's run to the line is gorgeous, and Lone Star is the first driver to collect maximum points. what Blank said to Stevie before the race, but it's obvious Stevie was not impressed. Lone Star, on the other hand, has the nose out on Doc, but Doc ain't letting him get away. They tangle before the jump, which slows their momentum, and they both stall out just after. Stevie and Blank still seem to be having words up at the top of the course, and of course I don't understand what is being said because it's mostly French, but I'm sure it's not good. Blank, with the protection of the inside lane, should have had a better drive out of the gate. Stevie might have an issue and tags the recovery vehicle just after the gate drops, but holy smokes! Lone Star somehow gets it all manner of wrong in a spectacular crash. Doc hits the jump and shows off a bit, wondering where everybody else went. He crosses the line, but let's see that start again, because it looks like the first dip in the course was enough to unsettle everyone but Doc. Lone Star looks like he's trying to out-stunt Rubber Toe as his Jeep explodes like a Michael Bay action movie. I hope he was wearing a helmet, because that definitely would have hurt. Things are way more settled on this lap. Lone Star hits the ground running, while Blank becomes the meat in a Stevie and Doc Sammy. They pinch him out just before the jump, and Lone Star looks to run away with it, but the camera still stays with Doc and the battle between him and Stevie. Doc checks out Blank, and that's him done. Stevie bumpers out on Doc, and it backfires, and Doc clears Stevie out of the way. Meanwhile, Lone Star seems to have gone wrong somewhere and tries to get in Doc's way. Doesn't work though, and Doc rolls in for yet another maximum reward. Let's watch that last sequence one more time. I'm telling you guys, Doc's one to watch. Group number 2 has given us our first runaway winner. From the start, I had a feeling about Doc's Jeep, and that intuition seems to have been correct. Doc runs away with the win in Group 2 with 37 points. Lone Star takes over the wildcard second place spot with 26. Stevie Jacques only collected 17, and Blank now leads the race to the bottom with 11. As Group 2 gets settled down by the food trucks, let's check out the overall standings on the leaderboard. Each group winner is guaranteed a spot in the next round, but don't count out a second chance, second placer. That was an amazing first day of racing at the trail. There were thrills, spills, chills galore, but wait till the upcoming rounds. Also, keep your eyes open for the next season of the Frozen 4-banger coming to you this winter. Will humanity be able to ward off the advances of Techmortal B? The fate of the universe hangs in the balance, so stay tuned. That's it for day 1 of the Jeep Jamboree. We've got plenty more action coming at you next week with groups 3 and 4. If you've enjoyed tonight's racing, hit a like, drop a comment, and if you're not currently subscribed, do yourself a favor so you don't miss out on any of the upcoming action. Once again, I've been your host, 905. Thanks for watching, and for the love of Diecast, keep racing.